Next part of the build, of course, is the head of the Unicorn Gundam Perfect Grade. There's a lot of parts here for this head, and it's obvious because of its transformation. But there were a lot of small parts here. Small parts that I was not willing to put on these parts just yet. For example, here in the head, which I'm actually now using the inner frame of the outer frame of the armor, just so we can see what the head looks like. The actual parts that goes here for the Vulcan guns are so small that even if I put them on, I don't want to have the difficulty of removing them, so I can paint them and then I lose them. Those parts have been put away to the side, cleaned up, and they're ready for painting. So I don't want to risk losing those. Some other parts, like here, the actual eyepiece, if you guys can see this, there's another part that goes in there. And there's also those reflective stickers that I mentioned before that comes with this kit right here, which I could easily put on if I want to or not, but I'm not going to. I'm going to leave it the way it is for now. So, looking at this, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this guy here and put it in, I believe, this position, and then taking this, making sure that it's in this position and putting it in here, and taking this top part, put that in like that, take this, put it in like so. This is basically the inner frame of the head right there, and there's a lot of spacing because clearly this is where the LEDs go in. Then we take this part, just trying to see how it goes in, and supposedly goes like that. Like this. Put this to the side. Again, as I mentioned before, the two parts that I'm not going to put on, but I'm going to put this one in. So it looks like that. There are also two little flap things that goes in here, which is part of the Unchained transformation. Again, I'm not putting those together. Those are put to the side, and we'll get to them later on. We have this part here, followed by this green part. There's stickers that goes in here, which I don't know why. You definitely don't need stickers if you're going to illuminate the head, and it'll bleed right through. So no need for that. But you need to put this one here, like so, followed by this, like so. Hopefully I can remove this so I can paint them. Now, the V-fin itself, the infamous V-fin that's being held by magnets. As you can see, if I let it go, it's right there. It's held up by magnets. But I had to put these two parts here, so it's part of the actually holding it up so it can open and close. So I did that ahead of time. Again, so small, so delicate, I don't want to risk it. Then we take this, followed by this part here that goes through here, supposedly. Make sure I'm looking at this right. Ah, it's this way. So that goes there, followed by this, which is held on like that. Then this part again. This is of course the unicorn face mask. Well, that's the berserker face mask. And then you hold on a second. Put that there, and then that goes through there, like so. Now then, we have this part, and in this position, I believe, and I'm sorry, I thought I cleaned up a part there. Let me grab the other one. There we go. Alright, again, so in this position, based on what the magazine says, I take this and put it in this one like that. So the other side is the reverse. Okay. And then the side armor parts, we'll need that like that. Then this in here, flipping that up like so. There's a part that goes there. And then repeat the same process here. Now, taking this, just trying to see how the manual states it. The cabling goes up around until it grabs onto this. And I believe, so is that held on by the cable itself? Ah, that is held on by the cable itself. Wow. Let me see if I can put it on without to worry about the cable. I should be able to put it on without the cable. First, let me put this on. There we go. I think this one is held by this. Where is the connection? Just trying to figure this out. Okay, so that goes like that, and that goes like that, so there's something here. Wow, how do you do this? Alright, hang on a second. Okay, I figured out the issue with this. There's these two little notches there. And then there's these right here. So they have to go in right up through here. You gotta stick it in there. And then you stick this one on top to hold it into place like so. The head, the face can be held up to a point. I guess you can flip it around, but according to this, I guess it's with the LED lights holding it into place. It actually has a connection there. So, I don't know how... Actually, you can put it in there. I see a part. So you can bring it in like that. So there it is. And then you take these... snap it into place, but the problem is it's snapping into place for, there we go, right there. You want to put that there, and you want to put that there. I guess Okay, that's good. This is going to be a little bit annoying considering that I have to figure this out again. And I guess we would need this later on when we open it up. Bring this up. This has to be folded inward, but oh, this one pushes in, but then this one goes here, and there we go. So we flip that. Ah, okay, good. Now I figured this out. It took me a while. It's like a Rubik's Cube. There we go. And then we have these two, which supposedly is held up in there like so with pressure. Neat. Very neat. You know what? If I understand this correctly, I take this, brings it out like that, lift up the head, or lift this down, then this one goes forward, and then this one goes back, then down, and then, whoops. Yeah, this thing doesn't want to always hold. Come on, get in there. You would stay there if you were painted, of course. Then flip this around and close it up, and then you open. Come on, can you open? Yep, there it is. It's not 100% complete. Yeah, actually it is complete perfect, because then you have to have these showing off. So there you go. I guess that's how it is. I must have missed something here. Somebody's gonna scream at me. Actually, if I look at the manual again a couple of times, no, looks okay. Looks like I did exactly what it says. Alrighty then. The head is now complete. Sweet. Alright, let's now move on to the next part. So, now that I've finished putting all the inner frame parts together, I think it'll be a good idea to assemble it and see what the overall height and overall bulkiness of this kit would look like when it's fully completed. So we take our waist unit, take this leg, put it in here. We take this leg, put it in here. Spread it out a bed. Oops. But a tad. And close it down a bit. I take our waist unit, we take our right arm, I believe, put it in like that, take the other arm, put it in like that, and put that in here like that. Wow. This is... oh shit. This is a beast and a half. I can't believe this. Look at this. That's huge. And we might as well put this on, even though I don't have the actual armor on this. So I'll put this right on top just so it can hold it in place. Like so. Actually, I should bring it up a bit. There we go. So there you have it. So pretty much the inner frame, or this is what the inner frame would look like assembled. There's still a lot of parts, maybe not a lot of parts, just a few parts that I haven't put on yet because they're required to go around the arms and things like that, or around the waist unit, the legs and things like that. Here's a part that goes in the back. Here's those parts that I mentioned for the Magnum beam rifle. This is parts for the backpack. I was assembling the backpack a bit, but it's all clear as you can see here. And I have all the thrusters that I need to clean up and sand down because those need to be painted. I have to remove the thrusters that's behind the waist unit, of course. There are these little weird parts that actually go under the sheet, under the skirts, to cover up the connection of the LED luminaires. Whoops! There goes his head. Don't lose your head. Yeah, stay right there. Stay right there. There are the trim parts that goes on the waist unit as well. Some parts for the shield. Those needs to be taken care of. So this is pretty awesome. Now there is one thing that I began doing, but I need to clean up and sand down, and that is, of course, the hands. Look at the hands right here. Look how big they are. And they're very strong. Now I was cleaning up. Now I need to sand each individual nub there, so that way they're nice and smooth all around. But I just want to put this on here so you could see this. This is the right hand. Wow, that is pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Now, so you guys understand, I am going to paint the inner frame. But looking at this, I don't want to paint all the inner frame. I need to concentrate on specific parts of the inner frame, so that way it looks okay during, along the leading edges, along the sides of the kit. I don't really need to paint the incomplete inner frame of the leg or the waist. I do need to paint from the inside, of course. There are places around the body that has to be strategically painted. Obviously the waist is going to be painted, of course. The neck part, the front part here, I don't know if that's going to be exposed. I gotta look at the manual a bit more. When it does transform and expands out to the destroy mode, a majority of it being exposed will show off, of course, the clear parts that you see here. I want to do that because once I finish painting the inner frame, I want to put the LED lights inside and then see how it looks. I wanted to put it on now, but I think it will probably be better to do it after I finish painting. So, with that being said, this is what it looks like before painting.